James, I got to think, considering with the state of the program when you joined was obviously coming out of a golden age, and you guys kept it up to a certain extent and played really well, had some big campaigns, contended in the ACC, etc. You just mentioned a record, like throwing out a record, 7-5. Do you think anybody throws out a record? I would think that would be kind of a no-no, throwing out like we'd like to go 8-4. Do you want to go 8-4? Meaning you're going to concede 4 games, you're going to lose 4 games. I would think back in your day, you're thinking, no, we can win them all. Do you think these guys? Yeah, is there talk like that?
I don't think they've earned the right to talk like that. But you're right. I think we lost 4 games. My freshman over that, my freshman and my senior year, but we still won the ACC my senior year. But we lost to teams that had those teams are going to have reunions. Like when we
Yep.
lost to North Carolina State, we lost to the greatest North Carolina State team in their history. Like those guys going ever like Phillip Rivers, Mario Williams, Manny Lawson. I think it was Tank. What's Tank's last name? Anyways, they had 4 first-round draft picks on the D line. Like they had some cats. Like we weren't losing to FCS schools, but I do think right now within reason they can go and say we got to be as good as the second-tier ACC teams, and they should have confidence beating Miami, seeing as they beat them last year with the worst team. But I do think we used to circle Florida and Miami were the only schools that we kind of went in, not necessarily worried about, but feeling like these are the only 2 teams on our schedule that have the athletes that we have. The only way we're going to lose these games is if we get out coached. And even then, we never thought about it. I share with these guys all the time, and I share with fans. I like Jeff Bowden. Jeff Bowden gave me my job. But I'm not going to lie and pretend that Jeff Bowden was the greatest offensive coordinator in Florida State history. The argument can be made that he was one of the worst. But the reality is this. When Jeff called a play, Jeff was making the money that I wanted to. So I had to make him look good. We had to make them look good. It did not really matter. Like, because the other part, too, is I told them, like when you get laid out, text messaging was 40 cents a text message when I had my cell phone in college, right? You got charged whether you sent it or whether somebody sent it to you. And I never wanted to get laid out because I didn't want to have to pay that cell phone bill because everybody's going to see you. They're not going to see that JB called the wrong play. They're going to see that you, the person whose job was to execute the play, is the one who got laid out. And I think Big 3 Twitter, which is fun, I think these players have gotten too involved in what the fan bases were saying with highly publicized, highly covered coaching searches and firing. So you got Jimbo. People hate Jimbo. Now they love Tag. Oh, we're going to tell me something bad about Jimbo. Tell us something. Then Tag gets fired. Oh, tell me something bad about Tag so I can. Nah, I told the players, like, you keep getting involved in this sophomorish politics that the fan base is having, you're going to find yourself being a fan way quicker than you ever wanted to be. You need to focus on the play because every play is designed to score on offense. Every play on defense is designed to stop the offense from scoring. If you do your job, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. So I think that's where you're starting to see some of these guys get out of that social media back and forth. I also tell Logan can attest. I tell these parents, stay off of it. Don't do it. Don't go on no message boards. Don't go in the discords. Don't do it. It ain't for you. It's for the fans. It's not. When you're doing good, they're gonna love you. But when you do bad, they're gonna tell you about it. And your little feelings gonna get hurt. Make plays. That's all you got to do. But I think they're getting away from that, and they're starting to come in and get confidence. Once you get the confidence, and when you're on a roll, man, you don't think you could lose to anybody. And I think there are a few pieces away. And it's unfortunate that the recruiting classes haven't panned out the way they panned out. But I will say where Mike and the gang made up for it a little bit in this transfer portal cycle is that they got a bunch of guys with multiple years left. So, with Verse, if Verse has a good year this year, you can expect him to be better next year because he's coming back. Some of the offensive linemen, they're coming back. They're not 1 year mercenaries. So you can't. It's impossible to build a program with a bunch of 1 year mercenaries. You eventually got to have guys who are going to be multiple years in here. And how you get your NIL deals? Ball out 1 year, and everybody gonna give you based on the potential the next year. So I think they got to look at it. We would love to have 7 to 8 wins. Hell, we would all love that. We don't know what that feels like to have 8 wins. When was the last time we had 8 wins? Was that 6 years ago?
16.
It got bad real quick.
Yep, it did.